Hello everyone, welcome to Even the Scales. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you're all having a good day. My name's Donna and today on my channel I'm going to talk to you more about the mind control abuse that the majority of my community here in Campbelltown has been carrying out on me for quite some time now. But before I start, I would first like to do an acknowledgement of country and first acknowledge the Dharawal people, who are the true custodians of the land that I bring you these messages on today. I would also like to pay my respects to elders past and present, as well as extend my respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are watching this video today. So since the last time I spoke to you on the last video that I made, the abuse is still very much going on here in Campbelltown, New South Wales. I'm still being abused by people in the community and I'm still being constantly stalked as well. For those of you who have not heard my story in the past, my family, the majority of my community, the police and other authorities here in Campbelltown have been carrying out MK Ultra mind abuse on me. And they are doing this. If you don't know what this is, if you don't know what MK Ultra is, it's when a large group or a community of people get together to carry out very cruel abuse tactics on one individual. And this is to either make them physically or mentally very sick. Sometimes people die from this. You can look MK Ultra up online and there are other organisations that have used this on people in the past and a lot of people pass away from it. Sometimes people just take their own life as well. They just give up hope on their life because what they are doing to me is, as a part of this, is purposely isolating me. So my family and the community have purposely isolated me and they are constantly carrying out this abuse, trying to provoke me to have an emotional outburst or a mental health breakdown or something like that, or just to make me sick from the stress of it all. So this is what's been going on, and they've made sure everyone's involved in this. I don't know whether people have been paid off not to help me or what, but they have made sure that everybody is involved in this and there is no one that I can turn to for help. I've reached out to several organisations that are meant to help people that are going through abuse, and I have either been rejected or they have just made up some excuse why they can't help me. I have also reached out to people in the public eye for help that are meant to help people going through situations like this, and it was the same story with them as well. The reason they are doing this to me is that it's all a part of a police cover-up. My family and the police have been carrying out abuse on me for over 2 years now, for well over 2 years actually. But 1 year ago, the majority of the community got involved in carrying out the abuse as well. And this happened after I wrote a letter to the police explaining how I had been treated and how the police had handled my calls for help over the past 9 years that I have been living with family and domestic violence. Over the past 9 years, I have reached out to authorities 12 times. There was 12 calls made during that time to the justice system. And on each and every one of those occasions, I was either treated very unfairly or my calls for help were not even followed up at all. And that was a part of the psychological abuse. This is because I have family members working in the police force, and there are also police officers connected to my family as well that aren't related. These police have been blocking justice from taking place in my life. They have been obstructing justice for the last 9 years from taking place, protecting my abusers. And some of these police officers are still manipulating and carrying out abuse right now, right up until this week. I reported a pedophile in 2020 as well, and the police have done nothing about that person. They are still living in a community and have been for the past 4 years. That pedophile is connected to this family, and the reason that they have done nothing about that person was just to psychologically abuse me. So they've done nothing about them just to hurt me. For no other reason whatsoever. There are also other crimes that police officers have been involved in that are connected to this family. One of them is a very serious crime, very serious and violent crime against women. So this is another thing they are trying to keep covered up. My family have also stolen an inheritance from me. So this is the reason that they have been so invested in carrying out this abuse as well and purposely isolating me. So those are all of the things that they are trying to cover up as a part of this. And all I can gather from this, from what I've experienced so far, is that this must be what the justice system do to people who know about police who have committed crimes. They would rather take me out than take accountability for what they have done. And I am an upstanding citizen. I don't have a criminal record or anything. I try and do good things in the community, if anything, and this is how I am being treated, all because I have spoken up about domestic violence and what's happened to me. And the treatment that I am being subjected to as a part of this abuse, it is just absolutely disgusting. It's demeaning, it's degrading, and it is outright inhumane. No human being should have to go through anything like I am going through right now. And this has been going on, the abuse has been very intense for around a year now from the whole community, or from the majority of the community that's been involved in this. My family and the police, it's been longer, but for the community, it's been very intense for the past year. My human rights have been taken away from me in just about every way. I have no privacy whatsoever. I have a listening device in my home, and there is also a listening device in my car. I am tracked everywhere I go, and everything that I do on my devices is watched. And it's not just the police that can listen in on my home and watch what I do on my devices. It is the community as well. And this is so that they can carry out this disgusting abuse on me. This is so they can track me. This is so they can get ideas about how to carry out abuse by listening to what I'm doing in my home. Everything I see on social media as well is controlled, like the advertisements and things like that. They are all designed in a way to carry out psychological abuse on me in some way. So the community are listening in on my home right now. So no one should have to be subjected to treatment like that. So this is why I am making these videos. This is the main reason, because as I said, I've got no help to get through this. The police won't help me. No one will help me, because it's the police that are behind this. So I have no choice but to protect myself in this way right now. The police have also stalked me constantly for about the last 11 months. They stalk me in the highway patrol car and in the helicopter, on and off. This has happened nearly every day for the past 11 months. They are doing this to intimidate me, just to cause me anxiety. They know that I have severe PTSD, and This is why they are doing it, just to cause me that extra stress and just to let me know that they're involved in this and, they're not going to help me in any way. And there has been times when I have made one of these videos and then I have turned the camera off, and as soon as I've turned the camera off, the police have gone over in the helicopter, like just to, like rub the fact in, or just to try and intimidate me, to let me know that, look, you're not going to get any help no matter how much you speak out about this. So they pretty much just laugh in my face by doing that. And I was watching the news the other night, and there was the police commissioner of New South Wales speaking on the news about how they have just recruited all these new police officers that are just joining, going out for the first time and working for the police. And as a part of that interview, they mentioned that it was one of the police force's main priorities right now was to work on making domestic violence better in this country, because there are so many people that are losing their lives to domestic violence. It affects so many people in this country, and it's just, what they're doing to me right now. How can they say that they are doing anything about it? Like, I have spoken up about how I was treated over the past 9 years living in domestic violence, from experience, how I was treated by the police. And they're trying to cover that up. They're too arrogant to even look at that, when the police are probably half the problem. So I thought to myself, we can only hope that this new wave of police that's joining the force are going to be, they're going to have more integrity and honesty than the police that are out there now, especially the police working in this town. They have been so abusive through this. And yeah, I just thought, what a joke. Like, they are making domestic violence a priority. It's just an outright lie. So, to carry out this abuse, they have done extensive research on my life. They have researched my life dating right back to my childhood. And this is so that they can use the past traumas that I've been through in my life as a child, and the abuse that I've suffered as an adult too, just to use those things to abuse me more, just so that I can't heal, because I've done so much work on myself to heal from those things. They are just trying to bring that all undone. I mean, I've had addictions in the past and things like that, and, I've worked really hard on my health and to give those things up, but they're constantly just, abusing just to try and make me take those habits back up again and things like that. And the details that these people know about my life, it's just unbelievable what they know. And they must have gone back and interviewed people from my past and my family members to get this information. There's no other way that they could have got this information. And, a lot of these people have told lies. I feel like a lot of them have told lies. And I mean, let's face it, my family are not going to tell the truth. They have stolen an inheritance, so they don't want to give that back. They have lied about my character to steal that inheritance. So, of course, they're going to lie. People had their own motives about why they would tell lies, people from my past and family members, whether it be greed, whether it be jealousy, whether it be revenge. People had their own motives. So a lot of them have lied about things about me and things that have happened in the past. There also seems to be one person that is overseeing this whole operation of the abuse that's being carried out on me. This person listens in on my home. They listen in 24/7, and the abuse that they send towards me, I can just tell that this person is like, they're a very sick-minded individual, and they are very, very cruel with by the type of things that they're doing. And I also feel like I've got some extremist groups as well stalking me and listening in on my home, because there are different groups of people that stalk me in my home, on the road, when I'm traveling, and when I'm out in public places. I am being stalked by a lot of abusive men right now, and they are stalking me in my home. They are driving up and down my street. If I go for a walk or anything, they will stalk me when I go for a walk. When I'm on the road, they stalk me, and when I go out in public places as well. And I'm being stalked by a lot of men in utes and a lot of tradesmen. A lot of, yeah, tradesmen, different kinds of tradesmen for some reason. A lot of abusive men. And when I get to the place where I'm going, well, first of all, when I'm on the road, I'm being stalked by people all the time. Every time I go out, I have people trying to cause me accidents. And these people are like zombies when they are driving. Seriously. I'll be approaching a roundabout, and these people will not even look. They will just go straight through the roundabout. And the thing is, if I was to hit these people, one of these people, it would be their fault. So I don't really get what they're trying to do. Just don't get it. It's just, I don't know whether they're just trying to get me to hit them, even if it is their fault, and, just to put me through that inconvenience and stress of not having a car or something like that. I don't know. But this is happening to me every time I go out. They're either doing this at roundabouts, or they'll pull out on me. They will turn off without indicating, very quickly, just things like this. So I'm always careful on the road, but I've just got to be like really extra careful, because this happens all the way to and from, no matter wherever I'm going. And it's been going on for the past 11 months. When I get to the place where I'm going, if I go to a shopping centre, for instance, I am stalked by hundreds of people right now when I go out. These people just swarm me. They come from everywhere, they do. From the minute I get out of my car and walk through a car park into the shopping centre until I get back in my car, and then I'm stalked again all the way home on the road. So it's just constant. And it's like they are recruiting these people or something like that through an app or something, because it's like they're asking for certain types of people. And this changes from week to week, the type of people that they're using, like they try different things. And I mean, I'm being tracked everywhere I go. So it's like these people are using some kind of app on the dark web or something like that, where they know where I'm going, and, they're fitting the description of what they need, and they're getting paid for doing this. So this is what it seems like to me. But when I get to the shopping centre, these people come from everywhere, they do. And even if I go to other places as well, like waiting rooms and things like that, they will fill the room up with fake waiters and things like that. And these people they are there to psychologically abuse me in one way or another. Some of them will come and ask me questions and things like that. And the questions that they ask are usually something where it's mocking me in some way. Like, they've listened to me in my home and they're mocking something that I've done in my home, or they will ask me about something where it uses the name of one of my abusers or something like that. Or they will just get a lot of women and children to stalk me as well. A lot of women, a lot of grandmothers and mothers are stalking me with children. And they're doing this because one of the first things that was taken away from me as a part of this abuse by my family was my grandchildren, because they knew that was, I love my grandchildren more than anything. And that was, what they did to hurt me. That was one of the first things that they did. So they're constantly sending these women towards me, especially grandmothers with children. And I just look at these women and I think, how can you do what you are doing right now? And I just think they're a disgrace to all women. I really do, because women have come so far over the past couple of decades in the equal rights that they have gained up until this point. And what these women are doing is, by supporting these abusive men, is just, they're just setting women backwards again. They are. And, these are women that are deliberately stalking me down to deliberately hurt me, to psychologically abuse me, and they're exploiting their children to do this. And they are hurting a person who is actually fighting for a better future for their children, so that perhaps their daughters won't grow up and be abused in relationships. Or, I'm speaking up for the environment as well, because this is why they're using a lot of the, like, to stalk me up and down my street. They are using like really loud cars, V8 cars, trucks, vehicles that are ran by diesel fuel and things like that. And they're doing this because they know I care about the environment a great deal. So they're doing this to, provoke me. And, I'm speaking up about things like that for our children, for the future. And these women are deliberately tracking me down to hurt me. And yeah, they're supporting these abusive men, and they're using their children to do it. So, they're using their children to hurt me. But if you ask me, these women don't even love their children to be doing that. Because if they really loved and cared about their children, they would care about their future. But obviously they're getting paid for it. So that's all they care about. They're obviously very selfish people. So what they will do as well is send lookalikes towards me of my abusers. So this is why I think, like, there must be like some kind of app or some kind of way that these people are being recruited, because that's what they're doing. They're sending people towards me that look like my abusers from the past, which is so pointless and ridiculous. All of this is pointless and ridiculous, because there's no way I'm giving up on my life ever. I absolutely love my life too much. And yeah, I'm not going to give up. So it's all pointless. Everything they're doing is pointless. And it's only hurting the community. That's all it's doing. And is it any wonder that our children are growing up to be bullies in our schools and things like that, with parents? Because some of these mothers, I can tell when I'm out that they're actually putting their children up to doing things. And, it doesn't matter what I say on these videos, they can hear this. There will still be hundreds of women doing this next time I go out, because they just don't care. They just do not care. And the fact that they're trying to provoke me in public places, and, these extremes that they're going to, and how reckless and confident they are in doing all of this. Like, they're doing all this all out in the open. The police are, these men that are stalking me, I guess when the community knows that the police aren't helping me at all, they just think that they can do whatever they want, because the town's been lawless, in that way. But the fact that they have just been so confident over the past year that this would work on me, that this would, end my life, that I would give up on my life and take my life. They've been so confident about that. Like, that tells me that they have obviously done this to people in the past and gotten away with it. The fact that they have been so confident. And it also makes me think about, they're trying to provoke me in a shopping centre to have an emotional outburst at people for doing what they're doing. And believe me, it's been very hard to control my emotions through this, very hard, because when I'm out, I can tell you there is not 1 minute that I am not being provoked. Not 1 minute goes by when I'm out that I'm not being provoked by another person. That's how full on it is when I go out. That's how heavily I'm being stalked. So when I think about this and what they're doing, it makes me wonder about some of these incidents that have taken place in public places where people have, maybe some people have just had enough. These people that have gone crazy with knives and guns and things like this and lashed out at people. It makes me wonder if some of these people have been going through something similar to what I've been going through, because this is exactly what they are trying to get me to do. And it's still very much going on. As I said, like, this has not died down at all, this stalking when I go out. It is absolutely full on. They're also still putting fake customers in the stores that I go into, and what they will do is they'll just try and get close to me, and they will have a conversation with the person that they're with, and they will, they might bring up something that I've done in my home, or they will bring up a conversation that discusses something about my family, something that they've done, or something like that. So this is what they're doing, and they're using the information that they're getting from listening to me in my home, or the information that they've gathered on me about my past to carry out this abuse. Sometimes the staff are involved in the stores that I go into as well. I went into a store the other day and there was a woman in there. I think she was the manager or something like that. And this woman, the look on her face when I walked into that store, I could tell she was just so pleased with herself, that she was going to get to, have a go at carrying out this abuse on me. And she did something, and she knows what she did, and I know what she did. And she was probably put up to it. She was probably paid to do that. But yeah, I just think to myself, like, I cannot even imagine doing anything like that. I really can't. But so far, there are 120 businesses that I know of that have been involved in carrying out this abuse on me. And that's growing all the time, that list. It's got to the point where I can't order things online anymore, because the delivery companies and the people that I order off, it's like they work together to play mind games. And it's probably the person that's overseeing this whole thing that's watching everything that I'm doing on my devices, to make sure that, I'm suffering from challenges and delays in every possible way, just to try and provoke me. And yeah, this is what's happening. The delivery companies and the places that I'm ordering off are working together to play these mind games. So yeah, it's just got to this point where it's, if I order anything online, I haven't been getting my deliveries at all. So that's just the truth of it. And they're getting away with this right now. And to give you an example of this, I was trying to chase down a delivery company the other day just to get back to me. And they play these mind games, they don't get back to me and things like that for days. And the person listening in on my home knew that I had put my vacuum cleaner on. So, you know, the short time that I had that vacuum cleaner on, they got that company to call me during that time so that I would miss the call. So this is the kind of mind games that they're playing. This is what they're doing. And the noise attacks, I've spoken about the noise attacks that have been carried out since this began 11 months ago. And this is still happening mostly with the traffic that's being sent up this street where I live. And as I said, it's a lot of noisy, loud vehicles, V8s and trucks going up the street. And this is all just to try and affect my nervous system and just to let me know that they're listening in on my home, because sometimes they'll do this, like if I just get up and go to another room, like they'll get a truck to come and pull up out the front or something like that. Like just to show me that they've, just to try and play those mind games where, we have control over you and what you're doing. We are listening to what you're doing, and yeah, we're stalking you right now. So this is why they're doing that. The noise attacks were a lot worse at the beginning of the year, but that's not the point. They're still going on. There's a pilot in a light plane. This person just doesn't know when to quit. I think this person's ego is bigger than their brain, to be honest, because this person is just so reckless. And this is what I mean by them having just so much confidence in what they're doing. Like, they're just lawless. They really are. But this person flies backwards and forwards a lot. And obviously they're being paid to do this. And there are also jumbo jets that do this on and off as well. So what they do, they fly over, and as they fly over, they do something with their motor to just make the motor really loud. It's the most pointless thing I've ever seen or heard in my life. I have no idea what the point of it is, but I think it's to cause anxiety. But, the things that they're doing, they're not just affecting me. This has been going on for almost a year. It's affecting the whole community. Now, can you imagine over a whole year the effect that noise and the pollution has had on everybody's mental health and everybody's physical health? I mean, it's got to be affecting people's stress levels and concentration levels, and it would be giving people breathing issues as well. The pollution, especially the elderly and children that suffer with asthma and things like that. And the environment and the wildlife as well. It's been affecting that, because I know that for a fact, that a lot of the birds have disappeared from this area since this started. And it's the police and the council that are meant to be regulating the noise levels and the pollution levels, and they haven't been doing that. They have actually been participating in the noise attacks and the abuse here in Campbelltown, New South Wales. So the noise attacks are absolutely disgusting. If you were here while one was going on, you would have to be here to understand what I mean by just how disruptive and horrible they are. And I mean, who wants to live in a place like that that's got that going on all the time? So they're still doing this. It's not as much, but they are still doing this, especially as far as the traffic that's being sent up this street, the unnecessary traffic. And it's all very loud cars that use a lot of fuel and diesel powered cars as well. A lot of the people, just getting back to the environment, I just wanted to say, like, another example of that, how the environment has been affected, is that I've been getting this plague of insects around my front windows. And there's a tree out the front that used to have a lot of birds, come to that tree in the morning and in the afternoon. And they have disappeared, a lot of them. And these insects, I looked them up online just to see what they were, and I'm trying to get rid of them, to find out ways to stop them from coming in through the windows. And a lot of the way that they're controlled is by the bird life. Now, I've never had these insects in the past. I mean, it's the warm weather obviously attracting them at this time, with how humid the weather has been, and the wet weather that we have been having. But the thing is, I have never had these insects in the past be a problem, but they are right now. And this has come after I have noticed that the bird life has disappeared out of the tree that was out the front. So, this could have a lot to do with how much this has interfered with the ecosystem, because it's just gone on for so long. I don't think they expected it to go on for this long. I really don't. Because if they've done this to other people in the past, maybe they didn't survive this long, or maybe they've, been taken to hospital and they haven't come out of hospital or something like that. Because this is what they're trying to do to me. A lot of the people who live around me have been involved in this. Not all of them, but most of them have been involved. And the people that live close to me, that have been involved, they have taken full advantage of the fact that they do have that close access to be able to carry out, the maximum amount of abuse possible. These people listen in on my home all day, every day. I don't think they do anything else, to be honest. And they do this to get ideas on how to carry out abuse. What they've been doing is listening in, getting ideas, carrying out the abuse, and then they will come back and check to see if it's worked, to see if they've caused me to be hopeless, or if they've caused me, any stress or anything like that. And I know they're doing this because I notice it. If they hear me, get my keys to go outside, or if I'm going out or anything like that, some of them must absolutely race out their houses to be there when I get out there, just to do something to try and provoke me. And these people that have been involved in this they've been obsessed. To say they've been obsessed with abusing me is an absolute understatement. They've been doing this for their entertainment. That's how sick these people are. And I don't know if you can imagine what this would be like, but it literally does make me sick to think that these people that, they are living so close to me, and they are actually listening to me in my home, everything I'm doing. It really does make me sick. So they're still doing this, and I've done nothing to these people at all. I was always nice to these people, and I've done nothing but stick up for myself by talking about this. That's all I've done. And it's like a lot of them, they don't want to believe that I haven't passed away, or that I haven't got sick, or that they haven't destroyed my life. And I think because they've been able to listen in on my home for so long. I mean, I think it's been for over a year that these people have been listening in on my home. And I think they've just got so used to it that they feel entitled to be able to do this. It's sick. And it's like some of them can't control themselves at times. Like, they've just got to be doing something, because I think they were expecting a large sum of money when something happened to me, and nothing's happened to me. So it's like, it's really frustrating them, and some of them just can't control that, and they still do things, they just can't help themselves. Like, it's just like, you must die, or you must get sick, because that was part of the plan. So I think a lot of them too are just natural abusers that just, I think with a lot of the people that are listening in my home, like the abusive men that are stalking me, and these people, like, they're just natural abusers that just, like, they get enjoyment out of doing what they're doing. So, yeah, they've been obsessed with doing this and they're still doing it. So that's why I'm speaking out about it. And, my family members that have been involved in this and the people that live around me that have been involved in this, you know, all through this has been going on for so long now, and not one of these people has come forward to ask me, was I okay, or anything like that. So what does that tell you? That tells me straight away that these people are just cold-hearted, and all they were focused on was the money that they were getting out of it. And I couldn't do this myself. I couldn't do what they've done. I could not sit back and watch a neighbour or a family member go through something like this. There's no way in the world I could. And to be honest, I can honestly say that even if someone asked me to be a part of something like this, there's no way that I would have. No way. But these people are just so cold and callous that they've been able to just sit back and not only watch what's going on, play a big role in what's going on as well. And the family members that have been involved in this, I realise now that they were actually spending thousands of dollars over the past couple of years in premeditating setups just to psychologically abuse me, just for that one reason. And believe me, these people went so far. They went to absolute extremes. I mean, they spent thousands of dollars on carrying out abuse. At the time, I didn't realize. I mean, there were a few things that, should have been red flags. I should have taken notice of them, but no one wants to believe that their family are doing something like this to them. And as I said, I love my grandkids very much, so I wanted to stay in their lives. But some of these family members are the type of people, that they will use their children to manipulate, and then they will turn around when you're not a part of their lives and say that you are a bad parent and make up lies, about why you are not in their life. So, there's been so many lies told about me by family members. It's unbelievable. And these are not small lies. These are disgusting lies, really bad lies that I have had to really just keep speaking out about, just to let people know that they are not true, because they've just done so much damage with the lies that they've told. It's really impacted my life in a really big way. And a lot of why they have done this is to keep people away from me so that I won't have help. There were certain family members as well that helped carry out a setup at the beginning of this year in February and March, where I was taken to the Campbelltown Public Hospital. I was held there for 5 weeks against my will, and I was put through extreme psychological torture there by the doctors, the nurses, and the patients that they had set up there ready to carry out this abuse. This was all a part of it. I was never meant to come out of that hospital, and my family members pretty much left me for dead. They really did. Their role in all that was to totally desert me and abandon me. And they did come and visit me a couple of times, but on the occasions that they did come and see me, it was all just to try and get me to sign over the control of my finances. So this is why they were so invested in setting this up as well. That was what they were trying to do. They did not care. They left me for dead in that place. And I was totally alone. I had to get through that 5 weeks alone. It was very, very difficult. And what I was put through was absolutely horrific in that hospital. I have made a video on that. You can go back and watch that if you want to know what happened. And the video goes into details of the abuse that was carried out on me there. This is in the Campbelltown Public Hospital. You know, I still can't believe that all this is happening to me in a country like Australia. I cannot believe it. And, I couldn't believe it when this happened to me in a public hospital. I mean, who would think? I've also made a video that explains the details of the calls and how police responded to them as far like while I've been living with this abuse, family and domestic violence. That video explains in detail about how police handled those calls, so I will leave the link in the description box for that as well. So yeah, my family, they have done so much. What they have done is just tried to destroy every area of my life just so that they can steal everything from me and just keep me hidden. Just try and destroy my whole life so that they can take and live the high life, basically, off my inheritance money. But it wasn't only my inheritance money that they stole. Some of them weren't just satisfied with that. Some of them wanted to steal my life's work, my life's purpose, because I'm a writer and I am also a spiritualist, and I get a lot of messages from spirit, and I record all those things that I get. I write them down. And I've also wrote a lot about my experiences in the past. And these family members actually broke into my home while I wasn't here and stole all my writing and all my work, just so that they could steal that for themselves as well. So they have just impacted every area of my life. They have my car's been vandalized a couple of times, and they have also tried to set me up for crimes in some really, really sick ways, really disgusting ways. And they have got certain people that live around me to try and help them do that as well. So it's just unbelievable the lengths that they have gone to. And, obviously they are working with the police and the justice system to do these things. The justice system are protecting them, you know. So I guess the bottom line here of all this is that I want my human rights back, and I want this listening device taken out of my home, because no one should have to live like this. I do not deserve any of this at all. I want my privacy back. I want my dignity back. I want my right to move freely back. I want my right to experience joy and peace in my life back, because as a part of this, they have tried to take away everything in my life that ever brought me joy. And they have, from the information that they have researched about me, they have tried to make sure that all the things that I don't like are placed into my life at various times. So this is what they're doing. I don't deserve this. I deserve to have joy and peace in my life like every other human being. I also want my right to experience an authentic experience back, because every time I go out, I am just met with these stalkers who are just playing out some fake role. Everything's fake. So I want my right back to be able to go out to a public place and just to be able to have an authentic experience with people. I haven't been able to have an authentic experience for over a year. So these are the things that I see. They're sending noisy car bikes up here now, but this goes on all day. Just they will constantly send these noisy bikes and cars and trucks up the street to stalk me. So I'm going to leave it there. And I want to thank you so much if you have listened to this video right to the end. I really appreciate it. If you can, I ask you if you could please like the video, share the video if you can, because it will just help the video to circulate a bit more, just so that people can find out what's going on here, not just for myself, but for other people that this may have happened to in the past, or, you know, this could continue to happen in the future to more people if we don't let people know what's going on out here. So once again, thank you very much for listening, and I will talk to you on the next video. Bye for now, and God bless.